All right, everyone. You'll watch this video for Friday, July 12th. Showing you the SPY here. Kind of quiet day inside of yesterday. Not much action as you look at the SPY, but I got to tell you, if you didn't make it to chat today, see this big pop in SOLY? Wayne called that long through 18. Look at that. Now, why? Most of you who have been in our chat room any length of time or taken our course, you already know, right? The early high, there's the opening 5-minute candle, tops out right around 18. Yesterday's high, it's 15 cents above that. It flushes. Oh, hold on. One other part of the puzzle, it's a recent high flyer, right? See this move from 12 to almost 19, and then it's going sideways quietly for a few days, couple days, whatever. Perfect setup. Whole number inflection point break. Yesterday's high above is another catalyst and recent high flyer and clean seller on the tape at 18. All those things combined, it never looks back at 18 and actually hits 21.97. Huge move. Just another, I feel like every day all I'm doing is highlighting Wayne's calls. $3.97 a share move on a risk of about 30 cents. And it, like I said, it never looked back. And speaking of Wayne, IMUX, he called this over 13.20 right there. Look at that. Goes over 19, goes to 19.05, a $5.84 move, about 50 cents risk on this one. He was pretty clear about that. It was a thin kind of a thinner trader, but man, huge move. Wayne has been on fire lately. If you're not showing up to chat every day, he had that huge call on VISL yesterday, a pre-market call actually, went from 3 to 8. So your man's been on fire. Anyway, what are we watching for tomorrow? Fuel cell. I still like it. Still flagging, right? Still flagging. It had that big pop, rando buck, kind of flagging sideways. You got a 2-day high right around over 90 cents. Now it closed at 77-ish. So, we'll have to watch it trade. I like it a little less than I did coming into today. But, a lot of times you get, this doesn't look like much, but it was 65 to 89. That's actually a huge percentage move yesterday. So you really kind of want to see a day of rest. So this is still interesting over 90 cents to me. We'll see what it does, right? IGC probably wouldn't have my attention other than you had this big pop back here, had a nice lower high back here right below 250, came back down sideways, riding the 20 and starting to curl up. Again, wouldn't have caught my attention, but this afternoon, big volume came in. See it? 15-minute candles maybe shows it better. So something might be up, and it's got nice support now that it's formed below. So maybe a pop in that one tomorrow. RVLT, huge pop today. Look at the range on this, 31 cents to 92. Before settling in way off its highs, which makes me like it a lot less, but maybe a red to green on it tomorrow. We'll see. We're going to watch it. Solo, SOLO, had this big pop and a couple red days on declining volume. Kind of hanging out around the hole number 3. Through 3 with volume, you might retest and break through this 325. So certainly worth keeping on a chart. AXGT had this big gap up here on big volume. It traded almost 20 million shares that day. Came right back down, sideways for what, like 2 weeks? And now curling up maybe through 8 tomorrow on volume. We'll see. REKR, it's kind of obscure. I like the recent high flyers, the stocks that are in play. Is this one in play? It's hard to say, right? Because you've got high relative volume the last month or so, but not like massive volume like some of these other stocks. So yeah, it popped up to what, 230 here, and it's kind of flagging, maybe through 2 on volume. I don't love this one, but I went ahead and threw it on a chart. Dry ships had the big breakout 2 days ago. A couple of quiet days, so I think that one's worth watching. ONVO, kind of an ugly daily chart, but after this gap up, and then it came down, you had the range of this day was 44 cents to 60 cents. I'm not a huge fan, by the way, of the penny stocks, anything under a buck, but then it trailed back down, and you had a big volume day here where it topped out at 55, flagged for a little bit, and right back up to 55 today. So I do like this over 55. Let's keep our eyes on it. I've never been a fan of that stock, but worth watching. Overstock was on watch today. It just goes back on watch tomorrow. You had this pop here, then an inside day, and I like it over today's high, which would be over 1839, because then you have yesterday's high just above as a potential catalyst of 1886, and the high of the topping tail looking day of 1926. It's still extended. It's still away from the moving averages, but it's still worth watching. All right. EVOK. This big pop back here reminds me a little bit of Fuel Cell, right? Gap down here, topped out around $1. Kind of this big island down here that's cup and handly. That's how I talk, cup and handly. Anyway, topped out at $1, and you're kind of flagging. So this one's interesting through $1, and maybe over like 95 cents over the 2-day high, kind of an anticipation of the dollar break trade. So we're going to keep our eyes on that one. CRVS, just another red day after this huge move, declining volume. So this one stays on bounce watch. It was on bounce watch today. CXW is a different kind of bounce watch. Not a strong stock, but really getting ahead of itself to the downside. I mean, this thing's been falling since 24. Kind of tried to bounce here, and it's kind of accelerating to the downside again, big volume, and it really did a nice bounce back here off the, 1725 area. So if on an intraday basis we sell down to that area, I'll be looking for a bounce in that area. So that's kind of why that one's on watch. GEO, kind of another nasty day and nearing recent lows. So I'd like to see that. I mean, if this comes down to this area on an intraday basis, I'll be looking for a bounce in that area. And then lastly, KPTI, which had this huge move back here. And you've got like, what, 5 red days now in a row, kind of hitting the 8-day. So we'll watch that for some kind of intraday bounce play trigger. And that's all I've got. I'll see y'all in chat tomorrow. We'll add some gappers to this list and hopefully catch a couple big ones tomorrow. Man, hats off to Wayne. He's been on fire. Keep an eye on his posts and chat.